Right, today we're going to be changing the charcoal canister and the non-return valve that fits to the charcoal canister. For those of you that don't generally follow the channel, and as an update for those of you that do, we've been chasing intermittent rough running problems for about a month now on the car, trying to track it down. Coupled with that, we've been trying to get to terms with the modern sort of diagnostic software and intermixing it with old school elimination processes. So anyway, we got lucky last time that Clive came down because where the problem's intermittent, it's difficult to track it down, and the car threw us a few clues last time. Clive now has Duramatics diagnostic software, and we got about 10 codes come up on the car, but we think a lot of the codes were probably relating to the problem. One of the main codes that interested us was the vent valve on the evap system, and because initially we thought that was a historic code, but when I went up to see Ian in Colchester, we cleared all the codes, so that's obviously come back. Also, the other thing the car did while we were diagnosing it is it started doing that kind of raspberry blowing noise when you turned it off, so that really kind of took us towards the evap system. So what I did, a few hours on the internet to try and find as much information as I can, and I found a thread that suggested that if you disconnect the purge valve on the left hand side of the engine, and I'm going to do a cut shot to that for you, and if your problems go away, then 100% your problem is with the evac system. So we did that, we disconnected the valve, run the car for a couple of days with the valve disconnected, and the car ran fine. So we were pretty sure that it was the evap system causing the problem. So what does your evap system do exactly? Well, nowadays they're not too keen on petrol fumes getting out into the atmosphere. So the evap system works in two ways. What happens when the car's stationary, not running, parked up, any fumes from the petrol tank that need to escape do so via the charcoal canister. The charcoal canister takes out any harmful parts of the petrol fumes and then just lets fresh air, basically, out to the atmosphere through a tube that we'll also do a cut shot to, under the wing next to the charcoal canister. So when you start the engine up, the purge valve on the side of the engine opens and it sucks the fumes it sucks in air from outside through the charcoal canister, takes the harmful fumes from the canister and burns them off in the engine. So essentially you've got a controlled air leak going on. Now there's essentially 4 components that can cause our problem, and there's a little bit, seems to be a little bit of confusion as to the various names of the valves and which valve the diagnostics was pointing to. So you've got the purge valve, which you unplug to test it. You've got the canister itself, which can cause a problem. Let's get that round here out the sun. You've got the non-return valve, which can cause a problem, and then you've got your vent tank valve up on the top of the petrol tank filler neck, which we changed last year. So after researching, we're reasonably sure that it's the non-return valve on the charcoal canister, but we're going to change the charcoal canister as well, just in case that's playing up. So that's brought you up to date on where we are with it. Let's get on with changing it. Okay, right, we took the liner out several days ago because we wanted to get part numbers off of the canister and the valve to order the right components for it. It's a bit of a pain in the arse to get the wing liner out. Pretty much I destroyed most of the plastic clips getting it out, but at the end of the day, for what they cost, I'm just going to pop down to Porsche and buy new clips when we put the liner back in. So essentially I just sort of cut the clips out and just ripped them out to get the liner out as easily as possible, and in the meantime we've run the car without the liner in there. Also, once the parts are changed, I'm going to run the car for a few days without the liner just to make sure that everything's working okay. So if we need to do any more work on it, we haven't got to get the liner back out again. We can't, obviously, as well as the car running properly, one of the other things we're doing now is we want to make sure that the fault code is gone and doesn't come back. Unfortunately, Clive can't be with me today, so we're not going to be able to put the Duramatic on it and check if the fault codes have gone for a couple of days as well. So it's another reason for leaving the liner out. But as you can see, if I just angle the camera up, the liner is out and the wheel is off, ready to change the components. So we'll carry on from that point. Okay, so these are the two parts we're going to be changing: the charcoal canister and the non-return valve. Right, so we've got a 10mm bolt there. That's the valve. These are all unclipped lower down. I shall have to change the camera angle to show you that. Right, so we've got 10mm bolt there. We've got our non-return valve there. And as we come down the canister, we've got two lines here that unclip. This is our breather tube. Let's show you there. And then we have one up here that has to unclip. When you pull the canister out, it's got like two lugs that go into rubber mountings at the rear that just support it at the back. So it's not a majorly long or difficult job to do once you've got the wheel liner out, or the arch liner out. So let's get on. So 10mm nut off. Try not to trash the cameras when you're doing it. Oops. Try not to trash it. Right, so that's the nut off. I'm going to unclip these from here, there, and then you've got two little push things on there for that one. Now the one at the back's a bit difficult to get to, so I'm going to do that once I've got the canister out. I'm now going to unplug this top one. Top one's a little tricky to get at, not impossible. Right, so the canister's just come out of its own free will there, which has dropped down a little bit. Hopefully you can see in the camera view, because it's difficult to see, even to see what the camera shot is on. Right, this one has been a pig. There we go, that's that one off. Right, and there we've just got this bottom one, but now this one has got a rubber cover over it. You need to pull back the rubber cover. Several people say they never see me get my hands dirty. Well, look, they're dirty. Now, this is the problem. I'm holding the camera with dirty hands. Dirty, greasy hands and video cameras do not go together well. So that's why usually I have someone else with me, and either I'm working the camera while they do the work, or I do the work and they hold the camera. Okay, this came off easier last time, but this time doesn't want to come off. I'll tell you what I'm going to do actually is just try and press the two. You can feel the two clips through the rubber. So what I'm going to do is just try and press the clips in and just wiggle it around. God, come on. Oh, not the camera, and there we go. Other end of the vacuum line that we've got to change, the valve goes up onto the solenoid, the vent valve on the top of the filler neck up here, and it's the same thing again. Two little press buttons to unhook it. There it is. Right, so that's the two old ones out, and putting it back together is pretty much the reverse. Okay, so putting it back together is the reverse. I'm not going to bother putting the camera up to get show you the top clip going on, but that's the top one is now plugged back on. Now then, hopefully the camera view is there. These lines all tuck round the back of this when you put the when you put the canister back in. Okay, now on the canister, if I can get this box out that way, on the canister, there we go, that looks better. You've got these two lugs that the canister locates in at the back there. So what I'm going to do, just to make those slide in a bit more, I'm going to just coat them with a drop of WD-40 so they slide in better. And then that just slides in, your 10mm bolt goes on, and then you clip your hoses back on. So the canister goes in, like so. Slips in with that, locks it in there. It's a bit fiddly to make sure, whoops, bang the camera there, to make sure that it's plugged in. There we go. You felt that kind of slide back there, so you got your hoses behind there. So our top one is on, our canister is now in. That simple, really. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? So now our 10mm nut goes back on. Now then, I will mention at this point, as in a previous video, we changed the valve, this top valve, up on the fuel cap back last year, I believe. So we're pretty sure that that isn't the problem. We don't think it's the valve on the engine. So as I said, there's four components: the valve on the engine, that valve, which we don't think it is, this canister, and the non-return valve. So obviously we're seriously hoping it solves the problem. If not, we will probably change the purge valve on the engine, and if that doesn't improve it, then that suggests that maybe the valve on the tank may have gone wrong again. Right, now then, that doesn't want to go on there too well, so what I'm going to do again, just lubricate it with a little bit of WD-40 just to help it clip on. These obviously need to clip on properly, because that is the other, there we go, did you hear that click? That of course is the other thing. There is the possibility that you've got a damaged line
somewhere that's sucking air, or it's full of dirt that could be causing the problem. Just out of interest, so that you know if you ever have to do it yourself, of the two tubes on the bottom of your canister, your non-return valve goes on the front one, not the back one. So if you pull them off and then think, shit, which one did they come off of? Okay, the non-return valve goes on the front one. Right, that hasn't, again, oh yes it has. I wasn't very keen, that didn't sound like it had clipped on. There we go. I heard that clip there. Right, that clips into there. I just pushed this down. I'm sorry, I realised that you're looking at the wrong area again. So we've just clipped this one on the back here. That hasn't gone out of focus, has it? And that's what I was just talking about now, that one. And the one with your non-return valve on, which I'm going to just lubricate up again a bit, because that looks, whoops, that looks a bit shitty. Goes on the front one down here, which is a bit, let's just turn that around a bit, there we go. That goes on to there, and that doesn't really want to clip on too well, but it did make a snap clip on, and that one clips in. If I just slide that back up again, that one clips into there. Now what is missing off of this one, that we need to get off of the old one, is this little clip here, and that just clips on there, and that clips, I hope we've got it in there again, let's just bring it down a bit, so that clips on there, that clips in there, keep that out of the way, and that is job done. Hopefully that will resolve the problem. So we'll get the wheel back on and then start her up and see what difference it makes. It may need a run for a little while to settle it and see what happens, but hopefully that will be the end of our problems. Okay, the wheel's back on, car's back on the ground. So I guess now the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So let's start her up and see if she sounds any different, runs any different. That said, it may obviously take some time for the car to settle in because it's been running rough and these things take time. I'm not trying to make you dizzy there, swinging the camera around and round, but there we go. A bit of a shadow there. Make sure she's out of gear and start her up. Well, that sounded better straight away. Right, let's take her out for a run and see how she does on a run. Okay, so the car's now up to running temperature. It's a lot better. Tick over's lovely and smooth, but it's still not running right. It's still hesitating a bit and still like mucking around a little bit. That said, it may take a bit of time obviously to set in. I don't know, possibly that WD-40 in the lines might be getting sucked into the intake manifold a little bit and causing a bit of grief, but I mean that should clear really almost instantly, I would have thought. But yeah, I mean it might just take a while for everything to settle down. It's a different canister, it's a different valve, engine's got to retune itself. You don't know if it's a bit carboned up, a bit sooted up, so. But this is why we left the liner off, so we can see over the next couple of days if it all puts itself right, and then next time Clive gets down, we'll get the diagnostics on it again and see if the actual fault code has gone away. And see what other fault codes we have. The exhaust sounds better on it. Right, well, unfortunately, it looks like that hasn't solved the problem at the moment. I mean, she's only done 4 or 5 miles, I suppose, after being warmed up.
So it could still sort itself out and settle down. Let's keep our fingers crossed that it does. But if not, it looks like we're going to have to start looking elsewhere in the EVAC system or the EVAP system for the problem. Anyway, I hope you found the video helpful. Thanks for watching. As always, please subscribe, please share, and please like. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.